Okay, we are starting our tour of the Queen mine here in Bisbee. So this will be fun. It just started raining. Little narrow gauge railroad for the mine cars.
Well, my ancestors go back to the 15th century along the lake there.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. So I came over to learn English and I had it back. They didn't know anymore where
So I guess we just ride these motorcycle style?
What?
Motorcycle style?
Yeah.
Okay.
States for a long time.
Yeah, but you know, 50 miles away.
There's probably some seats down in there if you get up to here.
Try and find them down there?
Yeah, go down that way.
Alright. You got seats?
Coming down here.
Come on down.
I don't want to. Okay, there's room for two here. You'll get coming down here. On the loop.
And there we go. Ring the bell.
Okay, folks, I told you we'd be stopping at 150 feet into the mine right here. As you can see, this is the darkest and narrowest part of the mine. We came into a tunnel that was completed in 1915. But if you look in front of you, you see that little red light. There were 34 years of mining before this tunnel was cut way back in 1914. After 1945, this tunnel right here was not in use anymore. This Copper Queen mine was not active. This was, as you can see by the dark suits on the walls and on the sides, this was used to train their firefighters back then. You're going to see how much timber was used down here back at the time. And then, of course, with timber, you have sawdust. Miners smoked. And then in later years, they bought the carbide lamps in here, which were nothing much than a light in, a flame in your hard hat back then. Now, that right there, that little red light, right before that little red light, if you look down to your left-hand side, you're going to see the original Copper Queen shaft. The only 45-degree angle incline shaft in all of the Bisbee mines. All the rest, of course, rock falls down faster, straight up and down, than it does having to use the 1-ton ore car taken up to the 7th level. Hang on. stope, S-T-O-P-E. Now, in order to get up there, it requires 36 stairs to get up there. So if you'll get off to your left and follow me upstairs.
No, thank you.
Two different flights. Good job. Come in here, I gotta close this door.
1945,
Nobody decides to lean against it, there's nothing there.
1915 was.
Anyway, folks, this right here is what you call a stope. It's an area that's been drilled, blasted, and mined out. Okay? This stope, we have over 1,000 stopes here in Bisbee. Some are quite smaller, but we have one that's called the ballpark. You can actually play a football game on that stope right there. Now, at the very beginning, these mines were considered bonanza mines, very rich, high-quality ore coming out of here. And I'm not just talking about copper, I'm talking gold, lead, silver, zinc, magnesium coming out of these mountains right here. Very rich bonanza mines is what they were considered at the very beginning. When they came down here, this right there that you see some blue and green on my light right there. Turquoise and malachite, it's some azure in there.
Oh,
now
wow.
when you get that, you crush it, you crush it, you smelt it, that's where you get your copper. Takes over 100 pounds of rock in order to make 1 pound of copper. Anyways, this stope took over 4 years to make, and I'm going to show you why, besides it being limestone rock and silica rock. Excuse me here, let me, some of the people right here, Steve. I want to show you, this was their first drill, way back when they first started, okay? Now, when you came down here as a miner, you came down for a 10-hour day shift or a night shift. They gave you 3 10-inch candles with which to last your 10-hour shift. So at the very beginning, what you wanted to do, if you're building this stope right here, you wanted to drill 6 holes 4 feet into the mountain right there. Now you got to start a hole, or miners call it collaring the hole. What you're going to do is, you're going to hit, and then you're going to quarter turn, hit quarter turn, hit quarter turn, hit quarter turn, hit quarter turn. The reason you're turning it is you don't want your drill to get stuck, and secondly, your dynamite is round, goes nice and easy in there. Now when you have your hole, start it. Now it becomes a 2-man operation, and this is what it would look like. You'll be going to a 3-foot drill, then a 5-foot drill to accomplish your 4-foot dip. Now, you got this young man right here, he's called a striker, and then you're gonna need somebody here to hold it and turn it every time it's struck. He's called the shaker right there. Any volunteers? Husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, come on, build some courage. No, just kidding. The good thing about this was that when this young man, the striker, got a little arm weary, tired, they would switch places. Anywhere in the record books, in these mines down here, a lot of broken hands and a lot of chopped off fingers back at that time. Because you got to remember, you got to put a candle to where, you know, your drill was more visible. So anyways, with this system right here, it would take you 8 to 9 hours of your 10-hour shift. After you're done, you're going to pack that with dynamite. Half an hour before going home, you're going to blast, and it stayed the same till 1975, same way. This gave that half hour, and then another hour before the next 2 came into work into the stove for that dust to settle, and then you didn't want to smell the nitroglycerin, because you'd have the worst headache is what would happen. Now, after the 6 holes and they came to the drills after 1919 down here, or 1914, when they first bought the drills down here, the first drills were very unhealthy. I told you about limestone and silica rock right here. First drills had only for air, okay? So when you were drilling, you're going to be breathing all that, especially the silica dust. A lot of the miners ended up with silicosis. First drills were called widow makers because young men were dying at 40, 45, 50 years old is what was happening to these young men down here. And it took them a while to figure out water was a solution all along. If you pressurized water, of course, when became available for these drills, that you could put it in and then pressurize it to your chamber there and come out at the end, at the bit. It would help cool the bit, and also when you were drilling, you'd be getting muddy water, muddy mud running down the mountain instead of all that dust that you were creating years before when they did not have that right there.
You said when they closed the mines, they left all the tools and everything behind?
Everything
Just,
remains the same to this day.
okay. So they can start up tomorrow then?
Pardon me?
They can start it back up tomorrow?
Oh, I don't think so. Everything will be so wet and
Rusted.
rusted. That
Well,
sky would cost too much money.
And that's
to open something like this up.
Have to squeeze in wherever you can, I reckon.
Yeah.
Seven.
Wait, didn't make these for people, did they?
No choice, they have seats, but there is a closet inside. The next door.
You want to squeeze in here?
Right.
You can.
Sure. I'm gonna hang
You
on.
know him?
Oh, go ahead.
Do you know him?
Nope, I don't, but I definitely will now.
Yeah, we just pretend we're on a motorcycle.
So they could have really taken the miners.
Coming up here on the left of the ceiling, you're going to see a yellow pipe. And that is part of the ventilation system keeping the air in the mine fresh. He's going to shut it off here momentarily so that we can hear each other in the mine because it is pretty loud.
You'll follow me down this way, step to your left. You'll all step to your left down here. We're gonna be going down this tunnel right here. Let me see.
That device in front of you, I'm going to call it a minesicle, and that was used by a supervisor to ride around in the mine because his daily route took him about 12 miles. And the guide will tell us more about that in just a little bit.
Yeah, you're down in here so you don't, we can make a little round in here. Okay, thank you. So anyways, by this time we're talking about 1905, and as you can see what that raised miner did is a 15-foot by 15-foot with 4 chute doors. Now I told you the trammers, what they did, they would open these doors right here, open them halfway, fill it, take it away, push it, and then come back empty and refill it for their 10-hour shifts. Told you about the meals also. Now let me tell you, one day, I told you about bonuses. But what happened was, before bringing these mules down up on the surface, can you lower your light, please? Thank you. When they were going to bring the mules down, they trained each mule on the surface out there to pull 4 one-ton ore cars. Okay, That's what their job was to do. Now, when they brought them down here, they're gonna spend 4 to 5 years, these mules, before going out of here. Now, in between that period, that 4 to 5 years, told you they had vets, they would get one mule that was not seeing, they cover his eyes, put it on a cage, take it to the surface. They had some dark barns out there for him, put him in there, and gradually, every day after that, they opened those doors little by little so that that mule would start regaining its vision back. Some of the lights start hitting it all over again. So anyways, one day, there's some miners that want to make some bonus, okay? Well, they decide they're going to hook a 5th ore car. Oh, they hooked it up all right, chained it up and everything, filled it all the way to the top. That tried to get that mule to go, but that mule wouldn't budge. They kept insisting and insisting, and you know, the miners finally got tired, so what they did is they unhooked that 5th one. Boy, that mule took off with his 4 one-ton ore cars that it was trained to do. They say that was the first union that was formed down here by the mules back then. So anyways, that motor that brought us in, that's a Mansi motor. That motor right there can pull 10 to 15 one-ton ore cars at that slow pace. So everything was starting to get bigger and bigger. Then from those Mansi motors, it went to the trolleys. We have a trolley motor going to the parking lot. The last one on the left-hand side, you're going to see an arm that hit with a little wheel that went on this bare copper wire at 240 direct current on that, 240 volts on that. Now that baby out there could do over 30 miles an hour, and by then they had 2-ton and 3-ton ore cars. Over 30 2-ton and 3-ton ore cars, they could take at over 30 miles an hour. Then the shift boss, well, he's got a lot of lots to keep track of, tonnage, footage, and whatever for your bonuses and everything. And he's also got to check on his men at the beginning, at the end of the shift. And so he's got 5 to 12 miles to cover, you know, because they're spread all over. So he asked for transportation. He thought they were going to give him a motor that the one that I pulled you in with. Nope, Dice, this is what Phelps Dodge gave him right here. As you can see by the banana seat 1962, right there, he could pedal backward and forward. And even then, it didn't last too long, you know. Being a boss, he thought he could get away with everything because he's supposed to keep it out of the rails when he's not using it. Well, he was leaving it in the rails. The guys driving the ore car started complaining. And like I said, it only lasted 2 or 3 years. Never could understand why. As you can see, they even put aluminum wheels on them for him in order to make it that light for him. Any questions on this? Okay, we're gonna go down to the when she told you I'd show you that blasting pattern down there that was most used down here. On our way through, you're gonna see a 1917 air door and some of the drills that were used during the mining era here in Bisbee. So if you follow me down this way. Come in here. Your partner is going to light the top, and then you will be lighting the bottom all over again. So you're going to get a spitter. Looks something like this right here, made out of magnesium. When you turned it on, 1,200 degrees for 40 seconds. When you had it lit, you start hitting right here, light all your fuses right here. And then, of course, what you would do is you would give this to your partner. He's going to do the top 4, and then he'll drop this down, and you're going to do the bottom 4. Then, before the very first one goes off, which is this one, you got good 5, 6, 7 minutes before that one goes off. You're not going to be going that far. You're going to be going, your partner is going to be going 30 feet at least on one side. And you are going to be going 30 feet on that side. Because remember, if you're working in a square side like the one I told you up there, all that rock's going to, you're going to get a little bit to the sides, but nothing drastic on that. But you're doing 2 jobs. The reason you're over there is you're making sure nobody walks in while these blasts are going in. Number 1. Then your next door right there, let me show you. This is how loud you're going to hear each blast. That's why you want to be nearby, because at the very end, what you're doing there is you're counting each blast. And at the end, both of you want to confirm 21 blasts is what you're doing. Once in a long while, one would not go off. It wasn't too often, but it did happen. And it would normally be one of the bottom ones because some sharp rock had fallen and had cut the fuse. Now you have a missed hole. Now you got to tell your boss. Your boss got to inform the incoming crew. And when they come in, they're going to wet everything. Of course, they're trying to bring down the dust, is what they're trying to do. Then, even if you turn it into mud, the wetter, the better. And anyways, when you find that missed hole, you're going to start wetting it with your water hose, putting it in there, and you're going to start poking it with something like this right in here until you can get to the one right there, see? And if you want to, you can also be spraying it, as you can see on that right in there. So anyways, that is to make sure that you get to the one at the very back is what you, right there.
Well, what are you doing with the one that didn't blow?
Oh, of course, well, you try to dissolve it.
Or dissolve it?
Yeah, that's what you try to do, is try to dissolve it. Right behind you, you can see is a cage. That's how all the mules, men, tools, timber came in and out of this mine right here. And you come in here, you know, and then anyways, so you have a good lunch. Folks, this concludes my tour. First of all, thank you all for visiting us here in Bisbee. And secondly, I hope you enjoyed the tour as much as I enjoyed giving it to you. Now, if you have red tags, it's a round trip. Now we're going to be going out, and Steve out there is going to ask you for your tags. And when we get on those man cars, we're going to be facing the opposite way of where we came in. And like I said, we've got 1,500 feet. I've got that air door to reopen all over again. And once again, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
About you'll airdrop.
Now, this was an interesting object, a steel plate toilet, a two-seater that was taken in and out of the mine with all the other rail cars, and it's thought that possibly some gold might have been smuggled out of the mine with it. Who's going to check?
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right, thank you. Thank you.
Boy, you deal. Well, Dad's gonna sit there, so if you wanna sit here, I'll sit there, or you can sit behind me. It doesn't look like she would push it off. Long legs.
One way in the back here.
One way in the back. There we go. Oh, this will be the first one I've sat on where I'm not having my legs shoved up into my face.
Come on, it's so much fun and exciting.
Oh, man. Maybe when I was 20. I found them. You know, as hard as I try, I can't seem to shake them. That was the end of the mine tour, and I really enjoyed going through here. I sped up the train ride 10 times just so you could see the full length of the ride, 1,500 feet, I think he said it was. And the mine has good air quality down there. They are constantly pumping in fresh air. We stopped there for a second to open an air door. There are sections of the mine that are separated. And yeah, it's a very neat tour. If you're claustrophobic, you might have a little bit of a problem with it, but very interesting. They stopped the train here because it's raining outside and they want to keep the train dry. So we are going to walk the rest of the way out, and I'm just going to show the last part of the walk out of the mine here. You see it's pretty tight fit walking down on the side of the train. And here we are back out into the open world where it is still raining. So I highly recommended the tour. It's very interesting, well worth the money. They do a tour at 9, 10:30, 12, 1:30. So they do several tours a day, and yeah, just a lot of fun. If you're into history, this is for you.
Fireplace got a little more popular than that one.
As you can see, the rains have come. I have got water on the skylight. Okay. You can see there's a lot of water in the bottom of the pit there. Long way down, long way across. Half a mile at least. This is the Bisbee open pit mine. I guess, according to the mine tour, the Bisbee mines are the 10th richest mines in history. And there it is. And when it shut down, they just walked away and left all the drilling equipment and everything where it was. In the tunnels, they sealed the doors, and that was it. And there's that beautiful truck camper. There's a slight chance you might hear the birds over there at the reservoir.